Salud.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Am I allowed to do this on YouTube?
I don't know, are you?
Sorry, YouTube.
I'm dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kickout Club Wrestling. It's been a little while, so forgive us if we're a little rusty and incoherent and belligerent. I don't know, we're always belligerent, no matter how good or bad we are. My name is Tyler, and joining me today is your boy and mine, Emil. What's going on, my dude?
Can I get a yer?
Yeah. Call me fucking Angelo Dawkins. Yeah.
Yo, why he start doing the Sue? Why he start doing the Twitch thing?
He did?
He's been doing it like every week for the last like 4 weeks.
Oh, I have not been noticing that. I don't even know what that is, to be honest with you.
I only kind of know what it is. I don't really understand it. But I've seen like it shows up at my job.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. Given
the kids are into it.
Yeah, facts.
Ladies
and gentlemen, we have a jam-packed show for you today. But before we do that, we do want to let you know if you'd like to support us, you can do so by subscribing over on our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to us. You can like this video, leave a comment, share it with your friends. Because listen, the more we grow, the better this is all going to be for all of us involved. It's a lot less sad when we have people listening and watching our content. You can also, if you like to listen rather than watch, you can go to any podcast platform, Apple Podcast, Spotify, what have you, and leave us a 5-star review, 5-star rating. Follow your boys over there and get your fix over there. And you can also follow us on TikTok for that short form content. We post a lot over there when I have the time to do so. But with that being said, we have a lot of things to talk about. But since it's been a couple of weeks, I figure we kind of circle around the wrestling world as a whole right now, the wrestling ethos going into WrestleMania 41. Yeah, man, you asked for it. I'm going to let you have the floor with this one.
Like a phoenix, he
riseth
from the ashes. A Beth Phoenix.
Oh man,
Santino might be the greatest character on all of wrestling television.
This is not the rant I was expecting to hear.
No, but that made me pop, and I didn't like. I rewound it like 15 times. Like I kept playing it over and over again, and I still laughed the same amount.
Mm-hmm.
TNA is apparently getting rid of their internet title that doesn't really exist, which is non-sanctioned.
The digital
anyway,
media title,
which doesn't exist.
Not anymore.
Anyway. It never existed to begin with.
It did. It did. There's a lineage to it. It's just I think somebody like just took the belt after they retired it and said it's mine.
All right, we're bearing the lead. This is not the rant. Let's really talk about it. So I was told for weeks to let them cook. I've let them cook, and this is still ass. That's it. That's the rant. That's the tweet. That's it. That's the take. Like, let's really talk about it. So now we are what, 12 days out from Mania?
Yeah, something like that.
Where's The Rock? Where is Cena? Where is Cody? Where's the hype? Seth Rollins found the hype. We spent 3 weeks in Europe for what? We did the same episode of Raw for 3 weeks in a row. This ain't it, y'all. This ain't it. And it ain't it because the storytelling just isn't it. Right? There's some predictability here that we're okay with. I was listening to Sam Roberts earlier today, and there is some points that he makes that are good, right? There's predictability, and that's fine. Like, we all knew the Heyman favor, whatever. We all knew a triple threat was coming. We all knew that Cena wasn't going to be there, whatever, right? Like, we knew things, right? We knew things going into this build, right? But, again, the old adage, let them cook. We've let them cook. This is still trash. There's bad storytelling going on here, right? Some of it makes no sense. We're letting Cena cut the same promo. They're all good and they're all fun, but we cooked the same promo for 3 weeks before we could finally get them two to go at each other verbally, which is okay, I guess, but like these felt like house shows. We're now back in the States and we realize we got a pressure cook, but we're too late. We're too late for this. There's a bunch of things that we are too late for. Bianca is still not really acknowledging this whole Jade thing other than, oh, my best friends were fighting, but I won the Elimination Chamber anyway. Like, that's all we're saying. Like, I'm over it. I've been over it. Makes no sense, right? The low-key, the Charlotte and Tiffany feud is the best feud ever right now to me. Like, I actually kind of enjoy it, but I don't know if I enjoy it for the right reasons. It's kind of trashy. I don't really know if I like it for the right reasons, but it's fun. And then they deleted the best segment of the entire thing. We're not telling good stories over in this triple threat match. This triple threat does not need to be the main event of night one. We're burying Jey Uso from that, which Jey Uso shouldn't have been in this match to begin with, as I've been saying. And now we're further emphasizing that point by not putting that in the main event. And it's on night 1, not even the start of night 2. So it's going to be in the middle of the card. We folded. We're not going into some June Saudi Arabia show. We're supposed to be going into WrestleMania right now, right? We're going into WrestleMania in Vegas, which they like to keep hyping up that it's in Vegas because it's a fuck you to Philly, which I also don't love because that's my hometown. Leave me alone, right? We gave Philly the best thing ever, and now we're here in the drizzling shits for Triple H. And it's not because it's bad, right? It's still good. Like, there's still very good things going on. There's good entertainment. There's good wrestlers. There's good promos. There's good whatever, right? It's just sloppy. That's the take. We're sloppy. We're really sloppy. And we can get into each of these nitpicks that I have as we go into kind of each story that's going on right now and kind of talk about it. But we're sloppy right now. We're hella sloppy, and we're 12 days away. I hardly know who's in the Hall of Fame.
That's true. I actually, yeah, I'm with you there. I genuinely, like, besides Triple H, I don't know who else is going in the Hall of Fame. Lex Luger.
Not the
Lex Luger,
some tag team,
the Natural Disasters.
That one. There's a match that's going in, Bret Hart and Austin.
Austin. That's actually a cool induction. You know why? You know, it's a small thing, and now I'm getting way off topic because I was gonna respond to everything else that you just unraveled like a roll of toilet paper. Not to say it's bad, just like the visual of like a CVS receipt.
Yeah, that was all over the place.
Yeah. No, but
noon is nooning.
But you know what the problem is with the Hall of Fame is that we used to get spammed with video packages about why each person is going in the Hall of Fame. The only fucking one I've seen so far is Triple H. Nobody else. Not the match, not the Natural Disasters, not Lex Luger. Triple H. Every week I'm fast forwarding through a Triple H video package. But anyway, yeah, to go through that, I don't agree with all of the points. I specifically disagree with the Jey Uso point. But we've had that argument way too many times to hash out again. I respect your opinion. I hope you respect mine. If not, fuck you. But listen, you don't have to agree.
I can tell what energy I'm on this pod tonight.
You don't have to agree, my dog. No, but listen,
my dog.
No, Jesus Christ. No, man, like, you're right. Like, this feels to me like this was plan C or plan D. This was not plan A. This was not even plan B. I'd argue it doesn't even feel like plan C because of how incoherent everything is being thrown together at the moment. And they're trying really hard. They're doing a good job with what they have on paper to connect the dots of what's going on screen to the show. But it's just not good enough. It's just not cutting it.
That's what I was going to say. There's history here. Like, we can dig into the history of Cena and Rhodes, right? We can dig into that. There's history in this triple threat match. There's mad of it, right? We can dig into the Jey Uso and Gunther of it all, right? We can dig into that. We can dig into Bianca and Rhea both kind of having both of those meteoric rise. We can have Io kind of play the character who's like coming in at the last moment and stealing everybody's shine and taking all of the shine from both of them, because both of them don't matter right now. We all want Io to win. So there's things here, right, that we like. It's just not gelling together, right? And again, you can't blame The Rock for the women. You can't. The women are what they are. It is what it is, right? That whole half of, WWE, you can't blame The Rock for it. You can't. Sorry, Rock's not a girl. But we can blame The Rock for everything going on, as we've been doing for the last month. And as I've been told to let them cook, I've still let them cook. Now I'm blaming The Rock full on. We're blaming The Rock full on at this point. Because Rock, we don't even know is going to be there. They don't know if Rock's going to be there. Rock's probably going to show up at like 7 p.m. in Vegas that night.
He's going to show up drunk to NXT Stand and Deliver and want to cut another promo.
He's going to show up at 6:30 p.m. Las Vegas time, which means we're about to close the fucking show over on the East Coast. And he's just going to get thrown in there at the last second to make it make sense. And then we're going to all like mark out because it's going to be awesome, but it's going to really be annoying. Right?
It's going to be like The Rock challenging Roman for 40, right? Like, cool in the moment, but then you look outside of the bubble of that moment and be like, "Wait, what the fuck? That was Cody. That was Cody all day."
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the thing is, Rock should be fighting Roman right now. And there was an interesting point that Sam Roberts brought up again, where he was like, maybe we all thought Roman was supposed to face Solo. No, the fuck we did not think Roman was supposed to face Solo.
Not at all.
No, the fuck we did not. No,
and speaking
he
of
did
Solo,
not.
and speaking of Solo, it's kind of crazy that he's not on the card after
Solo's not even on the card.
He carried SmackDown all of last year
for the back half of the year.
Yeah, like post Roman SmackDown was carried by Solo.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, man.
Honestly, and not saying like we liked all of the things that Solo did, but disrespectful.
And here's the thing:
he's not even facing Jacob Fatu.
He's probably going to cost Jacob Fatu, but that's not good enough. That should have been an elimination
also not
chamber.
what we want.
That should have been Elimination Chamber or SmackDown.
Rock should be facing Roman.
Solo should be facing Jacob.
Solo and Jacob.
Cody could face Cena.
Cody
I guess.
could face anybody.
He could face anybody. Gunther could have faced.
Gunther should be fighting Cena or Punk.
Gunther fighting Cena
Rollins
or Punk would have
be
been
on
good.
this card because I don't know where Rollins fits in here. I'm sorry. I love Seth Rollins, but I don't.
Cody.
Actually, if we weren't going to go the route with Gunther and Punk or having Gunther be the world title, it should have been the triple threat that we were supposed to get last year.
Oh yeah.
It should have been Rollins, Drew, and Punk.
Could have been.
Because right now Drew's off in purgatory. He's going to get a SmackDown match, and that sucks.
With Damian.
And that sucks. Nobody wants to see that shit.
No, I mean that feud actually has turned up, but it's just too little, too late.
We're too late, man.
Yeah.
We folded. We sold.
And
Whatever you want to.
I will say, like, I was the biggest proponent of let him cook, but here's the thing: I'm going to stand by my belief of let him cook, and what you said. We have let him cook. This has not been good. This has not been good, and I feel like I would look at this in a better light if we didn't just come off of last year being the greatest WrestleMania build of all time. But even then, it's like we should be able to feel something from this, and I don't feel much.
It's not bad. That's the thing. Like I feel like we're trashing it, yes. And did they fold? Yes, they did. But it's not bad. It just doesn't really. It's not gelling. Like you said, it's not their first choice. It wasn't their second. It wasn't their third. Maybe not even their fourth. Right? There's so many different options that they could have went and that they should have went. They could have had half of this card stay the same. Jay still could have won, and Gunther still could have been title holder. We could have went with Tyler's route. We could have went an even more interesting route that I don't have an idea of because I just can't think of it off the top right now. Right? Like we could have done a few other things that made a little bit more sense. But again, we're folding to The Rock, who's supposed to be a board member.
Yep.
We're folding for The Rock. We did it for The Rock.
You're damn right. You're damn right.
Sorry, it's just not it. Like, and we're not gonna keep sitting here and pretend like we can make excuses that this is it.
Yeah. At this point, the
We're
only
gonna
reason
enjoy
I'm
it.
excited,
It's fun. It's gonna be fun in the moment.
Right. The only reason I'm excited for the show is because it is WrestleMania. Like it's gonna be a fun watch. Like day of, my ass is gonna be planted on the couch.
Yeah, we're gonna be lit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a drink in my hand. Might have some other things going on, and I'm gonna wear my favorite wrestling shirt, and I'm gonna watch the show from start to finish. Dude, it's gonna be fucking great. But like, I don't know, man. I've gotten more excited about worse WrestleManias, but I feel like the bar has been raised so much that like, it's not doing it for me right now.
And it's really hard. Let's kind of give them, I guess benefits too. Like it's really hard to come off of WrestleMania 40. Incredibly difficult. Even with the mess that we started with, right? It's super difficult to come off that. I've been telling people that like that was something else. Like the whole atmosphere was something else. Take my city out of it, it's still something else. The whole build to it was something else to watch. The whole energy going into it was something else. Obviously being there was something else. Like all of that was so huge and so different and so new at the time. And now we're used to Triple H. We're used to what we're supposed to be getting. And again, now we're allowed to critique. There's things that we have let cook. We have let the regime settle in. Like there is no reason not to call this out for what this is. It's a mess.
Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say so.
I jumped on the train early because I saw the writing on the wall. Sorry. I knew it was happening.
I mean, I also, I always consider myself that I keep more of an optimistic eye on things and want to like what I'm watching. So I'm less likely to critique it. Sorry, I'm going to mute because hella sirens.
So let's kind of start moving into some of these stories. So let's kind of, I don't want to go through the card necessarily, but
Yeah.
let's dig in a little bit, right? We dug in last week to the Cena and Cody of it all.
Yeah.
And then we haven't seen Cena nor Cody for the last 2 episodes of WWE TV.
Wait, did we talk about the last? I'm sorry to cut off. Did we go through the last promo that they did? I don't think we ever got to when they got the back and forth.
That was awesome.
That was fucking sick.
That was awesome.
I came off of that with an epiphany, and I
needed that 3 weeks earlier. But
yeah,
it's cool.
Right. It feels like it felt like Cody cut the same promo for a couple weeks, and then Cena cut the same promo for a couple weeks. I don't know. It just felt very much like it was pushing off.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
These going through this motion was kind of like watching an old episodic TV show that had to hit 24 episodes a season.
Yeah.
And now, of course, with Netflix and streaming, like we can do 10 episode seasons. So we're chopping the filler, right? We're just hitting the important stuff that we need to hit. We're still getting character development, and that's how it felt last year, right? We were getting character development, but we didn't have 24 episodes to go through to get to the finale. We had 10. This time we have 24, and it's too much. It's too much, right? So Cena and Cody had to kind of fuck around to get to the point of where we needed to get to, which we could have gotten in episode 5 instead of episode 15.
And they kind of hit all the points. It felt very much, now with the benefit of hindsight and after I sat with it for a while, I feel like that promo in particular hit a lot of internet wrestling speak. It kicked off right off the bat, Cody, like everyone talking about, y'all, Cena, you're going to bury me, John. And then like they addressed that point. Then it was the point of like Cody being the Cena of today. They addressed that point. But Cody being better than Cena and Cena not being as good of a wrestler as Cody has been, hit that point. Like they hit every single point they could have. It had a decent back and forth to go with it. I think that Cody stood on his ground against Cena at Cena's best. Cena's best, we know, can verbally pants people.
That was Cena's best.
Yeah.
Holy shit. He said he got his wrestling gimmick for the world to see, and it's not where your tattoo is placed. It's what it means, right? And wow. Cooked him. Talking about bringing in money to billionaires, all you do is steal money from their kids.
Yo, that AEW,
Crazy.
that was a jab. That was a jab.
Crazy. I don't bury talent, I bury mediocrity. Because when you really look at it, let's be fair here, all the things that we said Cena buried, did they let cook? No. But all of the things that he buried were mediocre. Give me a name. Alex Riley. That's the first person that comes to my head. That boy was not doing the things that that people want to believe he was doing. No, he was not. Do we remember Alex Riley? Anybody?
I do.
Anybody?
Say it to my face.
Great song. Great theme song. I kind of like his color scheme, but like
the green.
Bro.
You like the green?
Be so for real. Like that man was not going to carry WWE. He was never going to carry WWE. He never had a chance. It wasn't going to happen. Nobody in that era was ever going to do it, except maybe The Miz. And did Cena bury The Miz? No.
Solo Sikoa?
No. He did
Austin
not bury
Theory.
Solo Sikoa.
Even though Theory ended up with that win, he did bury Theory.
But the thing is, Cena knew that too.
Yeah.
And we emphasized it on TV.
You're right.
So is that a burial?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Theory's still stuck in the tag division with this never-ending, never-breaking up storyline. Man, like I don't know. So
that was Cena's
you're
magnum
right.
opus.
You're right. That was up there with Cena's best.
And it's real.
I'd say it was one of Cody's best since coming to WWE. I would argue. I'm not saying Cody was. I do think Cena got the edge over Cody, but it wasn't this absolute verbal pantsing that like everyone talked about it was going to be on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like Cody can't come back from that. Cody will be fine.
No, but it was really rough, and
Yeah.
all the things that he was saying was true. And then he started. Then we moved into the more interesting point with Cody getting a bit more edgy.
Yes, and with that, I do have a theory, but I'll let you get into that a little bit.
I mean, I think our theories are going to line up, right? I
Yeah.
think we're all starting to wonder are we all getting played? Did Cena get played? Did Cody already sell his soul? Cody's been in a lot of dark suits recently.
He swore a lot. You know, the only person, you know, the only other
people who swear are Rock.
The only people that, the only other people that swear are Rock. No, the only two people that have said F-bombs uncensored on WWE television are The Rock and Cody Rhodes now. Is there a reason
for three,
that?
But we don't talk about the third.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Super interesting. You know, the concept, I think we all are curious is if Cody is going to still break our hearts, which will make some of it worth it. Maybe. I don't know. I think it's still kind of too little too late for all this, but I am intrigued to know if Cody's going to break our hearts still. If there's another backdoor deal, a backdoor of the backdoor, that Rock is playing Cena to bring Cody in, and then that's the arc. Cena then gets his title later. I don't know. Cena apparently has been confirmed for a lot of dates post WrestleMania, to the point where he's almost weekly, if
True.
not weekly plus a Raw, then the next week's SmackDown. So
yeah,
like, within 10 days, right? Like he's there. He's about to be here, which is very strange. So either they blew the load and he's winning, which they did not, which I don't think they want to give up. There's more nonsense that's coming, or Cody's breaking our hearts. And I'll take any of the options, really. I honestly don't know what we can do here. Cena being a heel right now doesn't feel right.
that's why I'm kind of like in this boat. Sorry, I'm in the process. I had tickets to Dynamite and Collision this week, and I sold my ticket. And I think I might end up regretting that decision. My gamble may not have paid off because I saw a ticket on there for $60 that sold, and now the cheapest one is like 90 something bucks. So it's not really much of a profit for me. Anyway, front row for Collision though. But yeah, my thing was very much so like I came off of that like Cody's swearing, he's wearing dark clothes. They never really fully tied that loose end at the end of the Kevin Owens story of like Codelander mode where he killed Kevin Owens and was standing on top of that ladder at the end of the match that they had.
You vehemently disagreed with me on that too. Nope.
I know, but that wasn't the direction they went.
Now in hindsight, we're looking being 2020, being what was
because
that?
that's the direction they went. That's the direction they went. I came in saying that there was a chance, a possibility that they just move on from it, but they didn't just move on from it. Like that's a reality, you know? So that's my big thing is like with Cody being this way, it has to be that. It has to be that, right? Like it has to be well, it doesn't have to be. This booking has been a mess, so it could be good or bad.
Could be anything.
But what I would want after all of this chaos, we have night one main event, CM Punk in the triple threat. Punk gets the win. Could be a face ending. I know you don't think Punk's gonna win.
I don't know. I don't know if I care enough.
I can agree with that, but but you have a face victory on night one, and night two you have Cody do the ultimate heel turn. Him and Rock turn on Cena, screw him over. Cody retains. He's the company guy. He sold his soul to The Rock, and Cena has to spend the rest of this year. So he's not just going for the title in a rematch. He spends the rest of this year trying to win the fans' hearts back and earn their respect and their trust back and becomes the big babyface he just was. He has the sympathy of the turn to come off of that, and we get this heel Cody we've never seen before. In the end of this year, we get, or maybe not the end, but maybe SummerSlam, John Cena face versus heel Cody Rhodes, and John wins it then.
I don't know. I don't know how we get out of this.
I know, because then at that point it's like you turn Cody heel with Rock, and that's a big deal as well.
Because we're like there's a lot of waste that's going on here, right? Do we waste the biggest face of the last 40 years? Like, do we waste the generational heel turn? We're gonna waste something. Something is gonna get wasted here, and that's not cool.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of transition into that Punk match though, like so this is also a mess. Like. We touted for months about this favor, and the favor was, I do appreciate Sam Roberts talking about how is Paul Heyman going to get Punk in the world title match. I appreciated that a WWE shill, let's call Sam Roberts what he is. Again, we love him, but he's half in the know, right? He's half there because he kind of plays both sides of the coin.
100%.
And for him to be like, well, that doesn't make sense. Fantastic, right? Let's dead that. Saying, how does it make sense for Paul Heyman? How would it have ever made sense for Paul Heyman to give Punk that kind of favor? Because it's right. That's true. How is Heyman going to get Punk anything, right? So the favor is we're digging into the history books, and I know Triple H had to go digging to go find to make sure that Heyman said something like that. He knows Heyman has said something like that backstage about Punk. We know that Heyman has a huge respect for Punk. Obviously, they have a great platonic relationship, and and Paul Heyman believes that Punk could main event at WrestleMania. Obviously, right? That's been very well documented in backstage things and interviews and whatever. But on screen, we had to make sure that he had really said this on screen. And so because he has, we have taken something from 2013. I like that they used the old Raw graphic for it too. I was a big fan of that. I was like, this is great. And they cut to Heyman saying, I'm going to walk down the aisle with you at WrestleMania. I love that Paul Heyman always says, I'm going to walk down the aisle with you to another man. It's fun. it's fun.
It's like they're getting married.
Every time.
Seth's going to be the priest.
For real.
Roman's the best man.
Absolutely.
Roman's the ring bearer.
Absolutely, Roman. Absolutely. That's your fan fiction for the week, yo.
And Sami Zayn, the flower girl.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So Heyman's favor to Punk, which we didn't know that he didn't know until the week of, which is also weird.
He said, I know that you know that I know that we know.
Strange retcon that we did, but okay. Paul Heyman was worried about this favor the whole time, but the whole time he didn't know. Paul Heyman is too smart for that. But as Paul Heyman is crying in front of Roman saying the family was in trouble, all right, fine, I'll take it. Whatever. Just because I need some form of something to make sense here, so I'll take it. That segment was hilarious. So let's back up a tad because I'm going really fast. That segment was fun. Rollins is totally there to instigate. He's there for nothing more than instigation.
Totally there. Totally would not. Totally was like. First off, that stomp at the very end.
No, not that one. The one before that, the SmackDown one.
Oh man. Oh, the SmackDown dude. He was there just relishing in it, bro.
He was there
laughing
for vibes.
that shit off.
He was there for vibes.
Pure vibes, dude.
Watching that, and we're sitting there laughing at Rollins, just laughing his ass off, and you see Roman slowly start to understand. Very, very dramatic HBO of it all. And the recap promo on Raw emphasizes it even more of just how HBO it is.
Yep.
Which is funny because all of them are fans of The Sopranos and stuff like that. So that makes total sense for all of them involved. If I don't see an "Are you crying" T-shirt, I'm quitting.
Are you crying?
Are you crying?
Oh, dude, that was so funny.
Yes, my tribal chief.
That was so dumb, but so funny.
So funny.
That was like one of the meme Roman bits that we haven't seen in a long time.
I know we haven't got heel tribal chief. We haven't seen that guy in a while. It was great to see.
It was.
It was nice to see him. It was nice to see Paul in true form again.
I was just missing Jimmy and Jay in the background breaking character.
Facts. Facts. We needed the Usos out there, man.
Yep.
They should have been out there for no other reason, just to instigate.
Oh man, it was great.
Paul Heyman, of course, in true wise man form. Yes, my tribal chief. Yes, my tribal chief.
Oh, he was full on.
He was going for it. Heyman has been putting this whole thing on his back. Let's call it what it is.
So, with that being said, that takes me to jump ahead to the next promo.
That takes us into Monday,
and
which is the more serious promo.
Well, this almost gets me thinking, like, between that with Paul being extra kiss-assy to Roman and extra like I don't know, like overcompensating to Roman.
Yo, he stood
because
up
of Punk.
Oh, my fault.
No, you're good. What if it turns out, because with this Raw segment, let's talk about it a little bit. Seth
there we go.
And Paul in the ring together, and Seth's kind of basically saying like, "Whoa, like, you know, Roman doesn't give a shit about you. Like Roman left you with Solo after WrestleMania, and he really cared about you, didn't he? And Jacob and all of them and the new bloodline, where they treated him like shit, put him through the table, all that. He's like, now, but CM Punk really cares about you. How much are you worth, Paul? And he starts shoving him. He's like, are you worth that much? Are you worth that much? And then, yes, Paul stands up and he's like, don't touch me again. And I was like,
That was
yo,
awesome.
Paul is learning and growing and developing as a person.
That was awesome.
Because
he's
he
no
did
longer
not
the
say
scared
that.
advocate.
Yeah. Yeah, which
He's not the scared wise man anymore either. He's up in your face.
Yeah.
And that I think is also very good for him if he's going to play the role that he's playing with CM Punk, right? Because again, and he's said this before too, he plays these different characters while being on screen with the same guy, with multiple people, right? He did the same thing with Brock, right? So Brock, he was the advocate. He was the lawyer. He's like this frail, like, I'm not going to touch you. And to be fair, he never really got involved in the finishes either, right? He was literally hype man in the corner, right? Fight hype man. Fantastic. He was with Roman. He's the wise man. He's using his intelligence. He's not necessarily participating in all the dirty finishes, but he's probably he's helping planning because that's part of the character, right? He's helped planning it. He's taking bumps, whatever, right? Cool. With Punk, though, he's always played this completely different character as well. He uses the Morris Day and Jerome reference, which nobody understands unless you're above the age of 45.
Right.
Basically, he's complimenting Punk, right? If Punk gives a lyric, he's ad-libbing. He's the Migos, right? He's the Migos. He's complimenting and adding to the overall presentation. So and Punk is playing this character that's not afraid of a fight, right? Punk is always ready to go, even if his fighting looks terrible. Go see him square up back in December.
Hilarious. Hilarious. Fighting game head ass.
Fighting game hockey fight CM Punk, right? That's the character he's playing right now. So if he's gonna go and compliment Punk, he can't be a scared bitch.
He can't be a servant.
He can't be a servant because that's not the role. He's not the wise man. He's not guiding somebody. He's not the advocate. He's not literally advocating. He's his best friend. There's a reason for that, right?
And so here's where we get to my theory. There are two ways in which we can go with this.
Wait. I got one more thing.
Okay.
So let's talk about Rollins for a second. So Rollins is now starting to become super cunning, right? As a character.
Yes.
Right?
Super manipulative.
He's no longer joking around anymore. He's no longer laughing at everybody else's pain.
I was getting Messiah vibes from that.
He's
Monday
here
Night Messiah
He's no longer
vibe.
here for vibes. He's no longer here for vibes anymore. He's here. He's here, and he's like, I gotta save this whole fucking show because this whole show sucks. So he's like going into Rollins mode, savior mode, right? Messiah mode.
Yeah,
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I was getting flashbacks, dude.
He super cunning, right? And the promo starts out with Rollins going, "Nobody can save you now," as he's kind of like touching his jacket. That's really the point I wanted to bring up.
He's kind of just going, yeah.
Well, no. First, he like kind of like plays with the lapel, how like somebody would get flirty.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, I'm confused.
Buy me dinner first, Seth. Come on.
Yeah, right. Like buy him dinner. Like it is. I get it. It's Netflix now. We can do whatever we want, but relax. Right. Then he starts pushing him and whatever, and then Paul Heyman does his thing, and now we're at the point now that you're gonna bring up.
So, thank you. There are two ways we can go with this story that I think, and I think they're gonna go with the less fun way, but there is a more fun way. So let's talk about the less fun way. The less fun way. Well, it's the bad news before the good news. Come on. So the less fun way is CM Punk gets his WrestleMania win. Paul Heyman turns on Roman Reigns and aligns himself with CM Punk. This turns CM Punk heel, potentially, and this gives us maybe a new Summer of Punk with Paul alongside.
But they actually almost booed Punk in Chicago, which is impressive.
Yes.
When he did that to Roman Reigns. That was impressive, because that was a heel
They
move.
almost booed it. They booed Roman at one point, too, though.
Impressive that you could get Chicago to boo Punk.
Oh, yeah. So with that being said, that's the less fun way. It's probably the way they're going to go because Punk hasn't had his WrestleMania main event. This is his first one. This is the thing. This is what we've been waiting for since the November before last, right? We've been waiting for CM Punk to get his WrestleMania main event and in turn his WrestleMania main event win. So
because we don't deserve nice things.
And we don't exactly, which is why we turn CM Punk heel for that moment and get him heel for that win. My only concern is it's very similar to Cena in that regard, and it's happening the next night, but it's the same two endings of the same kind of coin, right? The big face legend guy that's come back and comes back for the big one and they win, but they win in a way that you don't necessarily like it or want it to play out. Let's talk about the more fun way. And the more fun way is working in these past couple promos we had between Seth and Paul. Now, at the very end of the last promo, Seth goes to hit Paul with a stomp. Paul moves, and Seth also positions himself so it's like a near-miss event. And Paul turns and looks at him, and Seth goes, "Now you owe me a favor." And I don't think it was really necessary. However, you're giving Pretty Deadly vibes. Yes, boy! But this, to me, screams that we're going to be getting perhaps a Paul turn, but not to side with Punk, but to side with Rollins. And this, I think, would be the most interesting outcome for everybody involved. I think Rollins with Paul could be fantastic. I think it could. And I feel like if anyone else is a Paul Heyman guy not named Braun Breaker on WWE that he hasn't already been paired with, fuck it. Put him with Seth Rollins.
And it plays into the promo that he was given last night too, right? Or on Monday too, right? The promo was, he was like, Are you here for Roman or are you here for Punk? And then Rollins just kind of goes, Neither. Fuck both of them. And that's Rollins' kind of whole thing right now. He's like, what? Fuck both of you. Neither of you. None. No.
You both suck.
Come over here. Come on this side. We got cookies.
Yeah, man. Seth's going for the savior complex of the business as well. Like he's been that kind of.
That's his real life
thing.
Persona.
But it's blending
bleeding
that
on the television.
Exactly. And that's kind of been Seth's thing for a while with Punk, with Roman, with Drew McIntyre at times, and Drew McIntyre kind of stole that from Seth in a way as well. Seth's always been the locker room guy. He's been the company guy. That's all it's boiled down to, and it's just they're tapping into it in a storyline perspective and making it so it's almost like burning him alive. Like it's like eating him up inside and turning him into a darker character that he hasn't been in a little while. Which is why I think Paul would be a great fit for him.
It's so strange how we love Rollins we love Rollins, and Rollins then we're like Rollins should become a heel just so we can then love him again for him to then turn babyface again.
Yeah.
Ridiculousness. Also
right.
Sam Roberts' point, but I also thought that made a lot of sense. It was like, damn, man, I really didn't love the Messiah, but I did kind of enjoy the work he was doing.
True.
And I was like, damn, good for him. And then he started the early version of this architect visionary thing, right? This kind of hybrid character, which kind of started as the drip god, which kind of just turned into the visionary out of nowhere.
The drip god.
All of a sudden, like he became the biggest face in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
All right. Yeah, man. It's been pretty crazy. It's been pretty crazy, and like Seth. And
now it's like, all right, we want him to turn heel again.
Seth has also spent the last WrestleMania taking L after L, and the WrestleMania before that. Well, he won 39, right? Because that was Logan Paul.
He lost
38
at 40.
He lost at 38 to Cody.
He lost at 38 to Cody. Did he win at 37 against Cesaro?
Yes, and he won, or was that 38? No, sorry,
no,
37.
36
was
he lost.
Cesaro. 38 he lost. 39 he won. He beat Logan Paul.
I would say he hasn't had a major win since his WWE title win against Brock.
Yeah, and I think that Seth deserves something.
7 years ago.
But I don't know if this is the one. And the problem is Punk for me.
The problem is this doesn't matter, right? Let's really talk about it. So we've gone too long with this point without bringing up this point. This doesn't matter. None of this matters in a main event setting, right? This is cool as like a midpoint of the show, right? Like I was recently watching 24 again, and I noticed how they kind of split it up literally like a Super Bowl. There was the first half and the second half. And this seems like a good match to come into the second half of the show in, right? Especially as I believe this show is probably going to go from day to night. Just kind of thinking of the time scheme and where we are.
Yeah, it's probably going to start around 4 p.m.
These are going to go from day to night, right? If not mostly night or mostly day. So this is a good transition into evening, right? Like this is the 2-hour mark to me. But this is a main event for why? Just to give Punk something. We could have put Punk in the world title match. I'm going to keep saying that. We could have put Punk in the world title match.
Yeah.
Super frustrating.
Right. And like,
because what does this mean? Like, even if like Paul does the biggest turn possible, is Brock coming? No.
and
I
like,
hope not.
here's another thing.
Like, what are we doing? Why are we here? Why are we at the end of the
Right.
show? Why am I at 9:00 and this is my ender? Why?
The other thing is like the favor. I feel like was built up way more than it ended up being. If that was what the favor was going to be,
exists,
yeah, but the addendum was nothing.
but it was brought up.
One time. It's brought up once. The thing is, this is different. The favor they brought up multiple times for 6 months, and they finally bring it up this past week. And it's the most tame kind of fucking favor you've ever heard, and they treated this like it was going to shake the ground. Like it wasn't anything crazy. It's the most realistic favor. If it was going to be that, it could have been something way easier than that. And Yusuf brought up a point, and I feel like I should bring it up since he's not here with us this week, that there was one moment where Punk said he wanted Paul to execute the favor. And Paul said, now? And Yusuf was like, what does that now mean? Yeah, what does that fucking now mean? Unless it is what I'm saying it is, and he turns at WrestleMania and helps Punk. It that's it. It just the favor felt like it was going to be something bigger than it ended up being. Yeah, I'm mad because it wasn't what I expected. But also they hyped it up to be a lot bigger than what it actually became.
I'm not mad at what it is. I'm mad at where we're putting it in the card.
I mean, I'm not.
And because it's these guys, right? Like, I get it. Also, Roman gets his 11th main event out of this.
Hell yeah, he does. That's your tribal chief.
It is my tribal chief, but I can't with this one.
You got to fulfill your role as head glazer.
I can't glaze this. I can't.
I can't. He can't bring himself to glaze.
Because I can't find the logic in this.
Damn.
All right.
Wow.
Let's talk about something else. We don't spend enough time talking about the women on this show, so we're going to spend the next 20 minutes now talking about the women. If you want to skip this segment because you don't care about either of these matches,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
No.
There's actually 3 women's matches.
I'll stop being an asshole now. So let's actually talk about it, though, right? So I want to start with the Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte, because I was saying this might low-key be my favorite build of the entire show. Which might be cockamamie bullshit.
It is. It is.
But low-key, it kind of makes the most sense.
No,
it's logical. Now we're getting a little trashy because we've held on for too long, so we've got to just start shooting.
Given the people involved and who they are, sure, makes sense. It's within their character, even if it went off script.
Kind of enjoying it, man. And we deleted the best segment that they had off of YouTube because what? What was the official why we took that off?
I don't know.
So I'm assuming it has something to do with the Kaiser line because that was probably too much, and I'm sure
because he caught a stray.
I'm sure Tiffany Stratton did not appreciate that, and low-key Kaiser just became the biggest face in the internet because the internet is all like,
"We don't believe that.
We don't believe that. Look at this man. He's a sweetheart.
Look at this man and look at that bag.
Look at this sweetheart, and like, no way, like, not a chance, not a chance he did that. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, so Kaiser caught the stupidest stray ever, and because of that, Charlotte low-key tanked her whole promo.
The crowd.
Charlotte
did that.
also.
Did that.
Yeah, the crowd ruined Charlotte having any chance to talk. Charlotte then calling herself the best Nepo baby queen ever is also funny.
Also hilarious.
I actually kind of appreciated that. People were like, why would you call yourself the best Nepo baby? I'm like, that fits
if that's
for
who
her.
your father is, fuck it. I'd be throwing that
around. My
around.
father's Ric Flair. Like, might as well. Like, who's my competition? Cody?
Right.
Which is a very close second. If I'm in second, I'm very close.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm just saying. So I like all of this. I enjoy it. I don't really want Charlotte to win, though, and that might be what's happening. And that doesn't really excite me at all.
I don't think Charlotte is winning, and if she does,
but nothing about either outcome kind of excites me because Tiffany needs to do something new. Also, I don't know if I want Tiffany as a face long term.
Yeah, I don't know where she goes after this, like who she faces. But I also don't care to see what Charlotte does with a title win either.
I don't.
Where's
Becky?
Oh.
That's not saving things, by the way.
That's not saving things.
That's not saving shit.
That's
so
not.
It's just not
the
worth
women's
it.
division needs new stars, and there
All
are
the
new
stars right now are NXT.
Possible.
and some of TNA.
I don't know. Actually, Io Sky is running around, so.
Io Sky is here, so I guess that's all we want to talk about that match.
No,
which
no,
is a
no,
shame.
no,
They get 3
no.
minutes. We never give them time, and
I
we gave
didn't
them
get.
3 minutes.
I didn't finish.
Are we,
I didn't
are we
finish.
the guy
You talked
who we're
a
not
lot,
allowed
sir.
to talk about?
You talked a lot, sir.
Sorry.
Nah, you're good. I'm just messing with you. Nah, but I love Charlotte. Here's the thing with Charlotte versus Tiffany. When Charlotte was announced for the Royal Rumble, I was like, fuck, she's winning. And then she won. And then I was like, fuck, now what? Yeah, and now I'm like, now what? And it was either Rhea or Tiffany. And at the time, I was like, Rhea for the third time? Tiffany for the first time? And then I was kind of like, ooh, Rhea. The one thing that Triple H does right with these Rumble winners are the promos after the fact with both world champions with the winners of the Rumble. Because those promos every time, last year too, with Seth and Cody particularly, I was like, oh, we might go a different direction here. And this year with Rhea and Charlotte, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, yes, it's the third time, but like, this is a very, very different Rhea Ripley. And it's a kind of different Charlotte, but not really different, just an evolved Charlotte. This was like Rhea's Charizard to like Charlotte's like, I don't know, name a mega evolution, like something shit like that. Like, it was crazy. It's crazy. Don't shake your head. Don't shake your head like that. Nah, but
no, I liked the concept of the match, and it's not the trilogy I want, but if it's the trilogy I'm gonna get, I'll take it.
Well, thankfully it wasn't. We got Charlotte Tiffany, which is good. I think it's a good way, especially if Tiffany wins. That's the only caveat. Tiffany has to win this feud for me to really get the full effect of it, and that is Tiffany getting a staple win over an established main event star, because she beat Nia, but like that was with the case. Speaking of that, where the fuck is Nia Jax?
Who cares?
You were such a Nia stan.
I love Nia.
You were
but
such a
she's
Nia
lost
stan.
like 6 times. She cut like the same promo every week. Like, I'm over it for now. She can come back in like
That's kind of crazy though. She carried the women's division on SmackDown last year.
Yup.
And she's missing out
Liv
on WrestleMania.
carried on Raw, and here we are.
Well, Liv is going to be on WrestleMania, so that's good.
Burly.
That's good. But Liv is the reason why the tag titles will be on WrestleMania. This was a situation of Liv bringing the titles to WrestleMania, not the titles bringing Liv. But all right, man. The other side of the women's division, we have
so we gave them 6 minutes instead of 3.
What else do we need to talk?
The main events. The main events get 20 minutes.
Wait. I didn't finish. I didn't finish yet. I forgot. We don't have notes this week, people. We're all over the place. So at first with that feud, I was like, when that first was announced, I was like, okay, cool. And then we got a few weeks in, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. Why is Charlotte talking over Tiffany so much? What is going on? And we got 3 weeks in, and I'm like, all right, like it became a match. That's all it was. It became a match on the card. It was not one that I was like, oh, WrestleMania, I'm excited for Charlotte versus Tiffany. It was just, it's WrestleMania, and oh yeah, Charlotte versus Tiffany is also on the card, you know? And now I'm like, that promo in particular got me like, oh, like this is gonna heat up. This is gonna heat up. Someone Santi's app brought up a good point recently, and I just had to bring it up because like it makes so much sense. Like with my only hope and wish with this feud between Charlotte and Tiffany is that Charlotte brings the same energy she's brought to the promos with Tiffany. Like she just wants to make sure she asserts her dominance and her greatness over Tiffany. I hope she brings that to a WrestleMania match with Tiffany, because if this match can cook, this could be a great feud. This could end up turning the feud around for me as a whole. And Tiffany needs to win. So what, 8 minutes then?
More or less. All right, so let's hit the other half of the world titles for the women, and the other half being this triple threat match, right? This triple threat match.
Better match on paper.
Better match on paper, unnecessary completely, right? So let's talk about it. So Bianca won the chamber. I hate it. It is what it is. Oh well, right? It is what it is. Now, we have this Rhea and Io match that was looming after the chamber.
Correct.
We had the lovely mistake of having Io, Rhea, and Bianca all face off at chamber. Lovely mistake. Not a lovely mistake. That was a terrible decision. It was a terrible decision because everything that followed after was worthless. Repeat after me. It was worthless. So we sent Rhea and Io on a dummy mission, and we changed the dummy mission by having Io win. No? You lost me yet?
I just don't know where you're going with this.
All right, cool. Well, let's keep going. So then we kind of do this weird contract signing with Io and Bianca, which just ends in Rhea throwing a temper tantrum for all intents and purposes.
That is correct.
I mean, a valid temper tantrum in my eyes, but I mean, like, because why was Bianca out there? That's my question. Unless Bianca's going to play a heel,
Bianca had the right.
Which, if she's playing the heel, she shouldn't even be in this storyline, right?
Too bad she's not playing the heel.
She's playing the tweener.
She's playing she's playing someone
she's playing a character. She's not even. It's not a good guy. It's not a bad guy. It's
she's
a human
kind
being.
of someone I want to root for in this scenario.
I got it, John Cena. I don't want to root for.
Oh,
her.
I'm rooting for Bianca.
I'm rooting for Io.
Oh, I'm rooting for Io the most.
Io got screwed.
But I care the least about Rhea.
She earned her one-on-one match by winning a belt.
Yeah.
Bianca also kind of got screwed because she again won.
Bianca also won her
one-on-one
match.
Fair enough, right? So Rhea throwing the temper tantrum puts us into this triple threat idea. But before we get there, we have to then go on another dummy mission and have this special guest referee match with Bianca obviously not being a partial referee, obviously screwing everything up, which then makes a triple threat match. That's your face. That's not my face. Rhea's the face.
That was because
Bianca's
Rhea
the tweener.
That was because Rhea was so insistent on fucking with Bianca. That's been the whole story. Rhea is insistent on fucking with Bianca and also insistent on getting in this fucking title match that she had no right to be in. And Adam Pearce said I was going to give her a rematch, which, by the way, rematches are not guaranteed in this WWE. I don't know where everyone says that's a guarantee these days. They like to conveniently give rematches to the people they want to give rematches to. So they have an exit plan if they don't want to have a rematch, which is so fair. And guess what? Rhea didn't earn it. However, Adam Pearce was going to give her one. He said that. But she was being so whiny and bratty and like a little child that he couldn't give her the rematch because she wanted it on her terms, and he was like, no, I want to give it to he had ideas on when to give it to her, and she wouldn't allow him to do that because she would just try and force it to happen when she felt like having it. So that's unprofessional. That's not what you do in a business environment. That's not what you do in a job. Do you tell your boss you want to talk about you want to have a meeting with them to talk about your position in the company by like bursting into their office while they're in a different meeting with someone else and saying, "Boss, I want to talk to you right now. I want to raise right now," while they're in the middle of something?
I might have done that recently. I kind of have done that. Did it work?
Not my point.
Kind of.
No, that's not my point. That's not my
kind
point.
of. I got what I wanted.
That's not my point.
Whatever.
Either
way.
But wait. And Bianca has earned her match in the chamber, and what I don't like about this feud is what I don't like about this feud is them treating Io like an afterthought. The constant shoving, not shoving Io just like body, like shoving her sternum, her chest, shoving her face. That is like the most disrespectful shove out of all of the shoves. And that is the most they disrespect Io so bad. Like they make her look awful, and then Io's obviously gonna win, but like,
yeah, I was gonna say. So Rhea and Bianca are so obsessed with themselves and each other, right? That Io is gonna come out of this and go, "None of y'all bitches is winning shit,"
and go, "Yeah,"
which is fine because Io deserves her win after so graciously giving up the spot to Bayley last year, right? So Io has earned her W, has earned her belt. Seems a little strange that we decided to do this, but okay. Whatever. I don't even care enough to get into an argument.
It should have just been Io and Rhea 1-on-1. And a triple threat with Naomi, Jade, and Bianca.
It could have been Rhea and Io and Bianca.
It could have just been Rhea and Bianca if they just said, Io, go for the Intercontinental title.
Or we could have done that. I wouldn't like that either. I don't like this concept. I still don't love this concept that Bianca is getting out of this Jade storyline scot-free. I don't like it.
Listen, that's fair. And I'm not going to... Again,
we've let them cook.
Yes.
So unless we're going to cook at Mania, which is our last resort for that story to make sense, right? Well, to me, at least, right? After that, if anything after that happens, like if Bianca just goes into this match, there's nothing about it, and Bianca goes on her way, I'm going to get really annoyed. I mean, I'm going to say Bianca didn't deserve to be in that spot. She didn't deserve to win a chamber.
I think Bianca will go. I think that will happen. I think they're just going to drop Bianca from that.
Why did we put this? Why did we not put Io in the chamber and just have Io win the chamber and then do this Rhea Io match with Rhea having the title? Why did we not just do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I genuinely have no idea.
We could have just done that.
That's what I would have done. Like that's what anyone would have done.
We could have gotten the singles match. We could have gotten Io with W. Io could have won the title at Mania, which doesn't happen apparently.
Right.
With Asian superstars.
Right.
So like.
Yeah. I had another thought, and I forget what that thought was now. Fuck. Oh man. What was my thought?
Anyway.
What's my thought?
And Liv Morgan will be on this card.
Indeed.
That's all I can say about this tag match because I couldn't care less.
Liv Morgan will be on the card. Liv and Raquel are defending the women's tag titles against the winner.
Raquel got a spot on the card, bro.
That's right. We got Raquel on the WrestleMania card before GTA 6. But it's them against a winner of a tag gauntlet match. It's probably going to be Bayley and Lyra Valkyria that win that.
Wow, instead of putting this new title that has the lineage name
that wasn't getting on the card. Here's another
title.
Here's another
not
gripe.
Getting on a
Here's
Mania
another
card, but the boys Intercontinental title can.
Here's another gripe.
Yes, I said boys, not men's. I said boys. The
Here's-
boys can get on the card.
Here's another gripe before we get over to that, because I want to talk about that too. Why does I understand that the women's mid-card titles, I understand the sentiment in wanting the women's mid-card titles on the WrestleMania card. But think about the hierarchy of titles. Yes, the men's mid-card title is on the card. But these titles are brand new. We don't have WrestleMania level stories to play out with these with a women's mid-card. We just don't.
Why not? Why didn't we
Because the women's
cook?
roster isn't deep enough.
My bad. So we couldn't cook with what we did have?
What do you mean?
I'm saying we could have cooked.
We could have
cooked something. We could have made a side dish. We could have made some mashed potatoes out of this.
We could have had Naomi win the women's United States title and then turn.
Wow, what a concept!
I know, and then do this whole thing, and then Jade could have won a title.
What a concept!
Yeah, we could have had Naomi win the title.
Like this.
Reveal
this sounds like something I would have said.
Right, have Naomi reveal that she attacked Jade without Bianca getting involved or any kind of. Like, without any potential for Bianca to get in this mess. Maybe you have Jade and Naomi support Bianca as she goes on to win the chamber, and then at that point Bianca goes, all right, y'all are on your own, I'm gonna go focus on the women's world title, and then Naomi turns on Jade.
But we don't deserve nice things.
Correct.
Oh well.
We had WrestleMania 40.
That sounded like something I would have made up. I actually didn't make that up. That was great. Well done.
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you.
So, but I guess the sentiment more is like, all right, I guess like, I don't want every match to be a title match. That I can understand, right? I understand that, right? We have a lot of titles because each division has 4 titles, right? There's a main, a mid card, a tag, or there's 3, right? A main, a mid card, and a tag.
Main, mid card,
right?
tag, and then there's women's mid card, and then a women's tag that's across both brands.
And that's on both brands, right?
So it's 10, 11 titles.
There's 10, 11 titles, right? Even if we're splitting over 2 nights and we're doing 6 matches each, that's all title matches. That I can understand, right? That's why we put things like the Andre Battle Royal on SmackDown.
The tag titles, perhaps, men's tags.
We can do fun stuff on the Raw before as well, right? To kind of bring the whole WrestleMania feel
SmackDown before too
on the shows, right? I get that. That's the point, right? They didn't even label next week's Raw as WrestleMania Raw. Usually they do.
Well, no, because usually it's the Raw after WrestleMania, and then
but they do a WrestleMania Raw before.
Yeah,
because they call WrestleMania Raw and WrestleMania SmackDown. That's what they did last year.
Well, they haven't called WrestleMania SmackDown either yet.
So that's interesting. So are we doing normal episodes this time around?
God, I hope
no
not.
Andre.
That's lame. Yeah, they haven't announced an Andre yet.
Unless we're doing 2-hour pre-shows and we're gonna stuff all of that on pre-show, which I don't.
I hope not, because they're having NXT on the same morning of night 1 of WrestleMania too.
And now, as somebody who's gone to a WrestleMania weekend, I understand the drain that puts on your fans, right? And you want your fans to be hot. Of course, it'll be much warmer this time around, so we have no worries.
So they will definitely
weather.
be hot.
So they'll be hot, right? They're in the desert this time, right? So there's no complaints about that, but it is still a long weekend, as we've probably explained before, right? There's SmackDown, and immediately following SmackDown is the Hall of Fame, and the Hall of Fame's not in the same building this time. So
it's in a smaller convention center.
It's in the convention center at the hotel that everybody's staying at, right? Mm-hmm. So it's So everybody's got to get there. It's already going to start probably. SmackDown's not 3 hours, so it's going to start at what, 11 in Eastern time, which is at least the red carpet part's going to start at 11, which is what?
Oof. I will not be watching the Hall of Fame this year. I'm gonna keep it a stack.
8 on local time, and then it'll probably start at 9 local time, which is still late.
When is that? That's on the Friday?
And that's on the Friday, right? And they'll probably start at 9. And if they don't feel like cutting everybody this year like they kind of did last year, because nobody cared after Heyman, which sucked for them, by the way. But it was late, man. It was late. And they didn't start speeches till 11, which means they won't start speeches till 10, which means the crowd's going to be there till probably about 1, because that's like a 6-hour, 7-hour show right there already. Then they got to get up. They got to go to Stand and Deliver, which is going to be early because we're operating on we're operating on East Coast time, which means they're going to be in the arena by like 8 in the morning.
Yeah, doors probably open at 9:30.
That's a rough weekend to be there live, especially because they're running on East Coast time in a West Coast city. That's rough.
That's actually very true. I didn't think
that's
about
rough.
that. That is very rough. I'm surprised.
That's difficult. It was already difficult for us getting back to Philly for Stand and Deliver the first at 11.
Yeah,
that was hard. Like, we were already drained. We got home at 2. And we slept for maybe 6 hours.
Yeah.
And then got right back on the road to Philly again.
Yeah, that was
takes
like
an hour.
That was like the hardest day.
And then you go through Stand and Deliver if you're doing like the big thing, right? And a lot of the hardcore fans, so all the fans that Stand and Deliver will probably be at all the shows.
Right.
So that's maybe what, a quarter of your audience if you're getting up to 20K.
Yeah.
And so they're in there. They do 2 hours of Stand and Deliver. They rest. Hopefully they don't drink too much because they got to get to Allegiant Stadium by 4. Because that's when the show starts.
Not to mention,
that's
you might
when the
stop
show
at.
starts.
Not to mention, you might stop at WWE World or the Superstore.
Exactly. There's so much going on.
And there's so many events going on outside of WWE
that you don't think about when you're watching it at home, right? Because you get to sleep, take a nap. You just get to flick on your TV. You can go do something. You can go hang out with family. You can go drink. You can recover after drinking.
CVV's got a live show. Sam Roberts probably doing a live show.
Sam Roberts is on Thursday. I do know that. I don't know when CVV's is. So there's so much going on. And then, of course, you have WrestleMania, which is starting at 4 local time, which then will probably end around 7 or 8. It's Vegas. It's still early. Motherfuckers want
now they're going to have the roast of WrestleMania as well with Tony Hinchcliffe.
That's on the Sunday. Motherfuckers want to go out afterwards, so motherfuckers are going to stay out till 2 or 3 in the morning.
They did also say after parties at nightclubs after every night.
And there's after parties, man. There's so much going on.
Yo, they have an after party with the Usos and MGK.
Usos do not need
also,
to go to no
they have
party.
Metro at one of the other nights. Why wouldn't they put like the Usos or like Metro or some shit?
Because they're with The Rock, and The Rock is a heel, and the Usos are not. You got to keep kayfabe alive.
Metro?
Brother. Oh, Metro, not Travis. Oops.
No.
Well, maybe Travis is there with Metro.
Nah, I don't. They announced the lineup. I'll look at it.
Well, I mean, that doesn't mean people won't just walk in. It's Vegas, man. Anyone's walking in around here these days. There's going to be a lot of people at this thing, right? So what we're saying essentially is that this schedule is rough. This is a rough thing. This is music festival schedules. For anyone who goes to music festivals, you're out all day. You're entertaining extracurriculars all day, right? Like it's a long day. They're long days, and you're not getting sleep.
I'm actually so sorry. I gotta read off this lineup because this is a wild lineup. They have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday after parties at the Fountain Blue, Las Vegas, the same place where the Hall of Fame's gonna be. All right, night 1, Valentino Khan, Charlotte Flair, Rey Mysterio, and Bianca Belair. That's Thursday night. This is a nightclub, by the way. Friday the 18th. Metro Boomin with Liv Morgan and Braun Breaker.
That's fire. I would love to
go to that one. Saturday the 19th, MGK and the Usos.
That's also
kind of lit. Except MGK with the Usos is weird. That's what I'm saying. Put Metro with the Usos.
Man, where was Kevin Owens? Kevin Owens was supposed to be at that one.
Now, 420, we have...
LOL is Orton at it.
We have Gronk Beach WrestleMania after dark.
That's awesome. I'm into it.
With Flo Rida, Gronk, Tiffany Stratton, Damian Priest, and Valentino Khan, DJ Irie, and more.
Yeah, that's gonna go crazy.
That one's supposed to be like a massive party.
So motherfuckers are gonna get lit all weekend. Everyone's gonna be hungover all weekend.
Everyone's gonna be barking in the nightclub with Braun Breaker.
You're just gonna ride the hangover all weekend. So like this is gonna get long for people there. So you can't, it is what it is. I forget where the beginning of this point was. It's a long weekend.
It's a long weekend. Yeah, absolutely.
Because we were talking about title matches and like
Yes,
matches and
what
stuff.
matches
That's how we
would
got
be
there.
included? Yeah.
So they're spreading out so you gotta spread out the wealth.
So this was the part of the women's division as well. So we did clock in around a solid 20 minutes, I think.
That's so trash. We'll kind of fill out some of our thoughts on this lower card stuff because some of this lower card stuff really just doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, the Intercontinental title match.
That matters.
Yo, that's
I kind of care
cook.
about that.
That's Dom might win, dude.
I don't love though that they said that it was going to be the WrestleMania sleeper match, so now I don't really want to love it anymore. I'm pissed off about that. Don't tell me that it's going to be a sleeper. I already knew that.
Dom very well may win. It seems
hope.
like the story is they're building to Dom winning.
Have both of them leave with gold.
Yo, Dom winning the
Couple
Intercontinental. I could see Penta winning too, though. Penta would be a great Intercontinental
Here's the thing.
champion.
He's not doing much of substance for me to want to see him with the title yet.
Nah, he's a great wrestler with.
I don't care.
He's a great wrestler with a great heart, and that's just all you need from a babyface, in my opinion.
Ugh.
You don't like babyfaces. I know you don't.
Bryce Harper just hit a great home run. Anyway.
Man, that match is gonna cook. Braun Spear. Did you see Braun Spear on Carlito this week?
Did like a fucking barrel
Fucking
roll.
lawn darted his ass. He did the flip, like the moose flip when he does the spear. It was that momentous. It was that crazy.
I think the last thing I want to kind of bring up, and we kind of touched on it earlier when I kind of started this show. I want to bring up this concept that of the European shows.
Okay.
So I kind of want to circle back to the beginning of the beginning of the episode.
Real quick, because I do want to talk about that as well. We didn't talk a whole lot about Jay Gunther, which says a lot about how you feel about it.
Look, man, they started cooking too little, too late.
I love it right now, though.
I've heard opinions about that Jey Uso promo. I mean, we're gonna get. I think I like that.
That Jey promo was fantastic.
I like Crash Out Jey Uso. I'm here for it. I would rather him kind of just crash out.
That crowd almost killed it, though.
He was like, "Yo, please stop."
My brother in the hospital. Yeet. He's on life support. Yeet. Probably not gonna make it. Yeet.
He didn't say probably not gonna make it.
But like, he was saying all this shit about Jimmy being in the hospital, and like he's scared of Gunther, and his mom was asking why he didn't defend him, and like everyone's just yeeting along with it.
I got the concept of it. I don't know if I loved that promo.
Nah, when he said, "I'm gonna pray for you and your family, and pray for and ask for forgiveness for the man I'm about to become," I was like, "Yo." Oh, that was good.
So this is gonna become no DQ because he's not. Or he's actually gonna learn how to wrestle for this match.
Shut up.
He's gonna hit more super kicks. Okay.
No, I don't know.
He's gonna win.
I think it's gonna be a good match. I think it is gonna be more than just super kicks and spears and frog splash.
And they blew it by saying that this is gonna go on night one, which means this is gonna probably go somewhere in the middle of the card.
It's gonna open.
I hope it opens because at this point it can't go any lower.
It's
can't
gotta
get any lower.
open.
It should have opened night two.
You open night one when you do like you open night one with Jay winning. So you go through the rest of night one, and then you go through the rest of night two in like the hype packages after WrestleMania, and it's always the opposite of the beginning. The end is Cena beating Cody, mega heel ending, heartbreaking finish. Cena's a heel champion. That's how you end it. I think. Even though I want Cody to turn heel.
Is that how Mania started in night one last time? A mega heel one?
No, a mega face one. Actually, it was Rhea beat Becky.
That was the
first
intro
match.
to night one.
Correct.
Okay, so
it defeats my point.
I was gonna say I don't think the logic.
Well, it defeats my point, but like I still think that makes sense in my head.
I see the logic that you're going for.
Yeah,
big win, so we can cry at the end. I got it.
Exactly.
But oh well, it is what it is. Let's talk about these European shows.
Let's do it.
These were a waste of our time.
Yeah.
These felt like house shows.
In some regards, some stories I feel like they moved along like average in an average pace, and others I feel like they moved at a snail's pace.
We decided to do everything in England, I believe. We decided to do a lot of things in the O2
A lot of
arena.
things in England. Brussels had a good crowd, but that was the only thing for the Cena promo.
Which is interesting because the O2 arena is usually a spot for them anyway.
Yeah.
So something about that felt kind of normal. The rest of them were kind of just like happy to be here.
Scotland was kind of ass.
We also kind of did some side missions while we were here. We brought in not Nathan Frazier, the
Axiom.
other one, Axiom. We brought in Axiom.
MILFs rise up, baby.
That was,
man, I love Fraxium.
Which was super fun, but again, a strange side mission because there was no Uso involved in that. There was also like no reason for Gunther to be on SmackDown, and he was just there for vibes and to say "A la Madrid."
A la Madrid.
Like it really made no sense,
It's
but he was
okay.
there for vibes.
We have some
so
brand crossover now here and again.
We were bored clearly the first week. And overall, this is really kind of my take on this. We're gonna leave SmackDown out of this conversation because SmackDown isn't fair for the rest of for us in the States. For the rest of you, totally fun, have at it. 3 p.m. on a Friday, I would go watch wrestling, right? Because I'm not working at that point. I'm done. Whatever I was doing for the day, I'm done. Raw on a Monday at 3 p.m. for the States sucks. I feel like I missed 3 weeks worth of TV.
That sucks.
Which is fine because I didn't really miss anything, right? But for the normal average working person, right?
Yeah, I don't work an average schedule, so
not a great time to go watch.
It was
wrestling.
great for me. I actually preferred it, but
I really like watching Raw at night. I've always kind of thought that Raw was meant to be at night. It's called Monday Night Raw, but it was nighttime over there. It was 8 p.m. every city they were in, so I got it right. Fair enough, right? But I don't know. For me, did not hit. I felt like I missed a lot. The energy just felt weird. Like it was visually cool. Like they actually did some interesting sets to kind of accommodate for the arenas that they were in.
right.
Some of that looked pretty cool, which I wish they kind of could keep because it looks like you can fit more people. But a lot of those were 360 arenas, and not all the states' arenas are 360.
Correct. Yeah.
Visually looked cool. The crowds were obviously great. It's a bunch of soccer crowds.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's Europe. Like, that's cool. And we're gonna run it back in the summer. I guess. In the summer, obviously, I'm a lot more available with my schedule because I work in education, right? But what I still don't love is I don't know what to do with myself. Usually, like Raw is, my end point of the day. But it's fine. We're American and we get everything we want normally, so I can deal with it for 3 weeks. But the story stuff as a whole does not hit for me when they were over there. It didn't hit. It felt like we went on a big side mission.
It did, and it's weird. I can't say we didn't move at all, but it definitely does feel like we moved at a way less average pace.
It feels like they knew that a lot of their audience is American, and that's I think where most of their views come from, right? If we're gonna look at numbers, which nobody looks at numbers anymore, right? It's not 2004 anymore,
right?
And we're not fighting the last season of Survivor. But what we are doing is probably the ones who are mostly watching, right? And so because of that, the numbers, quote unquote, probably dropped, and they knew internet engagement had to go up. So that's probably where they got most of their stuff. I don't know. It felt strange though. It felt like we moved at a snail's pace for the 3 weeks, and that's disregarding SmackDown, which had to come on at 8 o'clock for America, because America is the only people who do not get SmackDown on Netflix.
Yeah.
So that sucked too, because we basically had to either avoid the internet or once again watch at 3 p.m. on illegal streaming websites.
Dead.
Which is again fine because everybody else in the world has to do it for us. You know, 300 and. Or what is it? 52 weeks a year normally, so they had to do it for the other 48 weeks.
We got you.
It's cool. We got you. I understand the concept, and I love that for y'all that y'all get that. But the concept, I would love to wonder if that would be considered a success, other than the crowd reactions, because some of the best videos that they were putting up was of the crowd, which does not bode well.
I think monetarily speaking, I think money talks. I think it doesn't matter if the product's not as good there. If they make a lot of money, I think that they make a lot of money there from gates, like from just like the event gates, and just like they can price tickets higher in Europe. I don't know if you looked at the tickets for the Bash in Berlin when they were there. It was not pretty. It was like worse than Mania 41 levels of expensive. It was really bad. So Europe, they can play with it a little bit, play with the numbers a little more. Europe has a way higher appetite for wrestling, for WWE. they have all this time that they haven't been able to see their favorite wrestling show, and now they're finally coming over to Brussels, Belgium to, I was going to say Glasgow, but they already did Glasgow once. Where else did they go? Barcelona, they did France.
And live, too.
Right?
That's
no,
what's
they didn't
cool
do
for
France.
them, right?
Yeah, they did France.
And live.
Right?
And it's live, right? That's what's cool. Like, they actually get the experience of being live. They could never have done this with the old model. So having Netflix is huge. So
yeah.
I get it, and probably monetarily it just doesn't matter. I think this does need to get treated like the Saudi shows, where at first we're just here for vibes, but
that means we can't get it for Road to WrestleMania anymore.
We're here for vibes, and that's fine. But I think at some point, aka like, if we're gonna do this next year during the Road to WrestleMania, we need to not be here for vibes. We actually need to do things. Like, we can't play off the fact that, oh, it's a different start time, and oh, it's in Europe, and oh, look at the fancy little mini stage, and oh, blah blah blah.
It did give me vibes of like the Raw, like the Raws when they would eventually once in a blue moon do an England show, and it's pre-taped, and they usually have somebody local debut there or wrestle there, surprise appearance. It felt like that. Like, it felt like it mattered, but it was like half the stakes of a normal show in the States of the equivalent brand. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and it's like the Saudi shows.
Or like
from
the holiday
2000...
shows, like the Christmas shows,
Yeah.
They felt like that. Like, it tapped into the storyline at the time, and wrestlers were staying in character from start to finish, but it wasn't substantive enough.
I would say exactly. Like, kind of like how I feel the Saudi shows were at first, where it's like, we're here for vibes, man. We're here to just be here, regardless of how we feel politically or whatever or personally about Saudi Arabia and them going there, right? We're here for vibes. We're here for these big attractions, whatever, right? And that's totally cool. But now Saudi has a purpose.
Yeah.
England's got to have a purpose. Just because we're starting at 3 p.m., just because we're with cool crowds, just because they're super drunk and do soccer chants for Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, does not mean we get to sacrifice what we work on all year.
Right.
I think that's fair. I think that's not an unfair thing to say.
I think
about
that
these last two shows.
Not only they spent the majority of that tour, it seemed like being like, oh, we have so much more time after this to build to WrestleMania.
We did.
And then afterwards, after the tour ends, people are like expecting it, like WrestleMania's coming soon, and they're like, oh fuck, no one's excited about this. What do we do right now? And they're like, fuck it, we just gotta floor it and turn it up to 11. Like, yeah, man, it's brutal out here, but they're doing their best. They're doing their best for sure. It's weird, man, and I hate to even say this, but like, we mentioned it a little bit, and Yusuf even mentioned it when he said he couldn't make it, but like, even though so much time has passed, it feels like there's not a whole lot to discuss.
Nothing has happened since Chamber. Nothing substantial has happened since Chamber, except for Jey Uso becoming a bloody pulp, Cena and Cody's third encounter, favor.
Do you mean Jimmy becoming a pulp?
Yes.
Okay.
The favor finally being revealed. And that's about it. If we want to like really drag a little bit, we could say that nothing's happened since Madison Square
We had a
Garden.
title change. That's it. And even then, no one really wanted that title changed.
Nothing's really happening.
People were happy that Io got the title, but like, was that the way that everyone wanted Io to win the title? Probably not. They wanted her to win at Mania.
We blame The Rock.
You just said earlier in the episode not to blame him for the women's stuff.
I don't care. I blame The Rock.
Well, you did it for The Rock, and Naomi did it for Bianca.
I'm done here. Close the show.
Damn, a short one. A short one.
Do we have anything else? Raw's only 2.5 hours these days.
You're right. You're right.
It's nice. It's
It is
real nice.
SmackDown in 3 hours is sucking, my dudes.
Raw ending at 10:30 is beautiful. There's things to do.
Hold up. We had a debut on SmackDown this week as well.
Mm.
The brother of Penta.
The other one.
Rey Fenix debuts on SmackDown. Rey Fenix.
The other one.
Wow. The other one. It does feel a little lesser than Penta, but that's because Penta's got more aura, dude. I said it in the chat.
They tried to give him.
They're gonna build Rey Fenix.
Felt like
Rey Fenix is gonna be great.
Like boneless Penta was coming out. I was like, oh, this is funny.
Rey Fenix is gonna be great. It's just really hard now because they've established Penta and they're trying to separate them, but not enough. Their logos are also incredibly similar, and I don't know if that's by design or not, but that's definitely a thing. Aleister Black and Rusev both have re-signed, and we are awaiting their debuts. Could Rusev be the
stuff after Mania?
Could Rusev be Randy Orton's WrestleMania opponent?
Oh my God, what an unfortunate circumstance.
So
to
Randy
be
Orton
in.
also, one last bit, is out of a WrestleMania opponent because
KO's hurt.
Absolutely tragic.
That sucks.
Absolutely tragic. KO with a
sucks.
neck injury. It was not done in the ladder match with Cody. It was done somewhere else after that, I believe is what he said. Some kind of neck injury where he could still wrestle and function, but once they discovered it, they were like, all right, we gotta pull you right now. And so he's getting surgery, and according to reports, could be anywhere of a recovery time from 2 to 5 years.
So we're in another Big E situation.
Yeah.
We're hopeful, but thanks, Kevin.
We very well
It's
may
really been an
never see KO wrestle again.
It's really been on it. This sucks.
Here's the one silver lining that I have is that his very last match was with his best friend in Canada, and it was unsanctioned. And it was phenomenal.
It was.
It was fucking incredible.
I saw it.
It was fucking incredible.
I was there.
I'm jealous that you were there. That's sick,
there.
dude.
It is. This does suck. This does suck for KO. I know that's not how he wanted to go out, but low key, there was the option to kill them both, which I still think we should have done in that match instead of doing this whole Randy thing anyway. So I didn't really want the match, didn't care enough about the story. So, but the real life of it does suck, right? The real life of it does suck, and that is super unfortunate. That we're kind of in a Big E situation. We don't know, and we wish Kevin the best. We don't obviously. I hope they find something for him to do to ride out a contract. I hope he doesn't kind of go wallow for too long, because he seems like the type that's gonna wallow. So I hope people like Edge or Paige or
Chris B at this point. Chris B.
Daniel Bryan. I hope people reach out. I hope people reach out because it's possible. It's possible to come back. We know what medicine is these days. It's very possible. He's not getting any younger. He's got to be pushing mid-40s, right? At this point, so he's not young. He's not a young guy. He's definitely pushing age there. But if his last two big matches were Cody for the
40.
championship, there we go. If his last two big matches were Cody for the championship, taking a gnarly spot while being already super injured, and then obviously the Sammy match, which again gnarly while being super injured, hell of a way to go out. So, thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. The Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders have been delayed.
This isn't a video game podcast, but I'm sold. The Donkey Kong game looked crazy, bro. I'm into it. I'm into this Donkey Kong game.
Man, I don't know how I feel about the Switch.
They're getting my money. They're getting my money.
$80 games can kind of suck my left nut.
So let's be real here. That was a feeler. That didn't come from Nintendo. That was leaked, and there was probably a point to the leak. I don't know if Nintendo's normally known for doing that.
Aren't those games? I swear I saw product listings for the games as $79.99.
That's also normal for some big releases.
No.
Yeah.
No. I don't know, dude.
I'm not saying I love it, but I'm also saying I'm not surprised. I'm into it. I like it. I like all the games. I like the upgrade system. I think Pokemon Violet will finally be playable as it was intended to be played, with 60 frames per second.
Pokemon Scarlet for the win.
Will actually run normally and look good and not freeze and no pop in. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited to play some games as they were meant to be played, and that's just because the Switch couldn't handle it and they tried to do too much for the Switch. The Switch is a impressive system. It is an impressive system.
I don't know if I like mouse controls. I think they're kind of weird.
Don't use them then. Don't use them.
They're kind of making it hard not to use them. You see the Mario Party game's going to have a bunch of mouse controls?
You can probably just turn it off. As long as you give me a setting to turn it off, I don't care.
I hope it's easily used. Like, the problem is, if without getting too into the weeds, I hope you don't have to use like a Surface to use the mouse mode.
I hope it's just you can just turn it off.
I
Like,
hope so too.
Or like, you know, kind of like the mic, the mini game mic from Mario Party. From
their
GameCube,
voice
like,
chat shit with the C button is so dumb. Can we talk
looks
about
so
that?
funny.
They have literally a button that's blocked by a paywall.
Hold on. This isn't a game podcast. Turn this shit off.
Oh man, y'all. If you
I like that Nintendo is catching up to things that are 10 years before them, but it's
Facts.
fine.
with their fucking camera that's a potato. I will say they have a Piranha Plant one that looks sick. Anyway, third party, by the way. Hori, I think, is making
We're buying day one.
Y'all.
They're not signed by Nintendo yet. Nintendo didn't go grab that free agent.
Oh, I don't think they got Hori off the free agents.
They didn't put it on the
They
roster.
haven't picked him up from waivers yet.
Damn.
Y'all, if you made it this far, why? But also, that means that you probably like us enough to where you want to support us. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, you can do so by finding us on all podcast hosting platforms, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Follow your boys over there. Leave us a 5-star rating. Leave us a review. Glowing review. One of the best reviews you could possibly give. Because, again, all that helps to push us out to new audiences and to help this community grow just a little bit more. You can follow us on YouTube as well. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on the video. And leave a comment on your thoughts on WrestleMania 41. Is it ass? Is it ass? I didn't even pull it out. And this whole episode has just been WrestleMania's been ass. And I haven't used it. But it's ass. Let us know what you think. And last but not least, follow us on TikTok. You'll probably see clips from this episode over there over the next week, depending on how much time I have and how much I hate myself. That being said, y'all, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week for WrestleMania predictions.
What's 9 plus 10?
21.